Sage Steele showed you what a woman was. She went on a 2-hour interview with Megyn Kelly, and just in the most delightful and dignified and responsible way, in the woman way, she showed what a woman is. She showed what a true patriot is. She showed what toughness is. And she did it in such a way that I believe she not only kept her dignity, but enhanced her dignity. So many times people are scorned, and what do? They get angry, they get mean, they get vindictive. No. Sage Steele just simply pointed out what was going on and why she got suspended, how it all went down, and it started with a COVID shot. It started with her having to go to the local pharmacy and get a shot that she absolutely did not want to get. She balked, she questioned, she got, ultimately, let's be honest, she got fired, she got moved around. They tried to distance themselves from her ESPN, and it failed because Sage Steele came out of this a winner. Let's hear from Sage on getting the COVID shot.
I own everything. Every single thing I said. I would say it again today, and I still believe it. So I don't want to separate myself from that. But that day, I literally, Megyn had just come from the stupid grocery store pharmacy to get the shot. That's why the Band-Aid, I've been asked a couple times, even recently, is that a prop to stir the pot and to get them to ask you about that? I was like, no, I literally was late getting the shot because I sat in my car crying, saying, I cannot believe I'm going to go against what I believe is right and my morals and values and what I believe being forced with my body to keep my job. But I knew I had no choice. I am a mother of 3. I'm a single mother of 3. Their father is here, and he's a wonderful father, but I'm 100% the breadwinner. And I knew that I had no choice. And I sat in that car, and I was disgusted with myself for caving. See, I get emotional again. It's so stupid. I went in the grocery store, and I sat down, and the nurse looked at me. She's like, are you okay? Because I'm like, rah, crying. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I'm not okay. I'm being forced to do this, and I don't believe it's right. Not yet. Give it a year. See what more they learn. This is still experimental. Just give me time before I have to put this in my body. And the nurse looked at me and grabbed my hand and said, this is so wrong, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are people, memo to folks in the media, there are people that stand up. There are people that'll say this is wrong. Now, Sage, people say, well, why didn't she stand up? She's a mother of 3. She paid alimony to her husband, palimony, whatever the hell you call it, a lot, by the way. So it's not like you can just say, oh, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to be done with this job. And oh, by the way, there are certain jobs that are just jobs. There are other jobs that are lifelong careers. Sage Steele worked here in Indianapolis. She's from Carmel, a little suburb, well, not little, but a suburb here north of Indianapolis. She carried her own equipment. She was an intern. You go through stuff to get all of a sudden to ESPN for 16 years. You just don't show up and become an iron worker or a mill worker. You just don't show up at a company and all of a sudden you're a salesman. I mean, to get to where she got is a lifetime of work. It's one of the things that as a little kid you dream of doing. I want to host a show. I want to be a broadcaster. I want to host a TV show. Blah, 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 whatever it is. And you don't just throw that away. And you can hear in her voice how hard it was. And, of course, people always look at something. Well, she had a Band-Aid on. I got to tell you, I had a Band-Aid on my knee for I don't even know how long. And my wife's like, when was that from? I go, well, it was when I went to QC Kinetics and I got a shot in my knee. She goes, that was 3 weeks ago. I go, I know, I forgot. I don't know. So people always make it out. And memo to you media, there are people that stand up. And it has amazed me, absolutely amazed me when I've tweeted about Sage, the level of hate that she gets. And it's not because of her broadcast talent. It's not because of what she says on air. It's because of her politics. And it also doesn't amaze me anymore how vicious the far left is to her. All right, the next one is she just wanted consistency. Now, let me explain this to you. When you work at ESPN, there are 2 separate deals. There is the conservative white guy deal, where you're not allowed to tweet about politics, where you're not allowed to say anything, where you must just walk on eggshells all the time, tweet on eggshells. I experienced it. I was going to get kicked off of a broadcast at Ohio State because I've told you this many times of a tweet that I sent to Dane Fife and Brad Clapper, two guys that we were just joking around. Well, Norby Williamson and the boys and girls at ESPN took it to mean something else. And I'm sitting in a hotel room having to explain myself, and I asked, I go, you guys worried about Jalen Rose? Well, don't worry about that. This is about you. I go, okay. Well, here's what it is, and you can fire me if you'd like, or you can take me off the air. I'm happy to go home. But this is what the tweet meant. It had nothing sexual, nothing racist, nothing political, nothing vulgar. It was an inside joke about Indiana basketball. And I had to answer for it. I got a call right after I did my radio show. See, all you want is consistency. Let me give you a little bit of Jalen Rose. So Jalen Rose was able to stay on the air and get promoted through a DUI. Jalen Rose said on the air, he talked about white boy wasted. Now, look, can you imagine we go the other way with that one? White boy wasted. Man, I was white boy wasted. Jalen Rose said on the air, on the court, at the NBA Finals, and I quote here, Jacob Blake was shot and killed by a police officer. Jacob Blake was not shot and killed. Jacob Blake was, in fact, alive. Now, think about that for a second. They did not commit a crime when they shot Jacob Blake. They arrived at the scene in Kenosha after a woman who Blake had sexually assaulted called the police on him. Once police arrived, Blake had a knife in his possession, refused to drop it, police shot him. He admitted, I had a knife. It's unbelievable. So Mark Jones, although he got demoted, is still with ESPN. Mark Jones interrupted a live NBA game and said the police shot Blake while he was unarmed. See, there's two levels here. The African-American level, they say whatever they want. You say whatever you want at ESPN. I mean, Adrian Wojnarowski, I guess as a white guy you can too if you got power like Woj. He said the same thing, that Blake was killed. So you can lie and lie and lie and lie and lie. You know what Sage Steele's lie was? Or you know what, not even a lie. You know what Sage Steele's hassle was? She questioned why Obama, the president, whose black father was absent, doesn't show love to his white mother. Now I want you to think about that for a second. Oh my God. Oh, Capesta, my eyes are burning. She questioned the great Obama, America's do-nothing president? America's get richer than hell despite never having a job? President? $12 million mansion, dude just died in their pond, no one's covering it, president? Okay, all right, I guess, if that's what you're telling me. But the truth of the matter is all those guys for years and years and years were able to do whatever they want. Anyone more racist than Kendrick Perkins? Anyone? He's getting promoted. Anyone dumber than Elle Duncan? Anyone? She's all over the place. They actually did this to Sage. Sage started a women's forum. Elle Duncan got her kicked off of this because she's not black enough. I don't even know what Elle Duncan is. She represents herself as anything she needs to be. And Elle Duncan breaks in to a live game to lie and not understand a bill in Florida that is not called Don't Say Gay. You certainly can say gay, but she's too stupid and apparently too powerful, or at least too diverse, that ESPN can't stop her from lying. So here's Sage on just wanting fairness.
Listen, all I ever wanted was consistency. And if we are allowing my peers to go on social media, much less on our own airwaves, saying things that are anything that have nothing to do with sports, that are political, that are not true quite often, because the parental rights bill in Florida is not what many people claim that it is. Most people apparently didn't take the time to read it. Then I should be allowed on my personal time to give my opinion on my experiences personally without telling others what to do or how to feel about being biracial or being forced to take a vaccine. And I think that's just what breaks my heart, is that there were different rules for me than everyone else.
Yeah, there certainly were. They started to take responsibilities away from you while at the same time forcing you to apologize. The comment that you put out was as follows, quote, "I know my recent comments created controversy for the company, and I apologize. We are in the midst of an extremely challenging time that impacts all of us, and it's more critical than ever that we communicate constructively and thoughtfully." So did they make you do that, Sage? And how did that feel?
I did not want to apologize. I fought and I begged and I screamed. And I was told that if I want to keep my job, I have to apologize. And I need my job. And I love my job, Megan. I loved it. Loved it. Every moment on SportsCenter the last 2.5 years with my co-host Matt Berry and my producers. We've had the best team. So proud. I loved it, but I needed it as well. And they knew that. They knew that. So I apologized, and I think that I thought that was going to be the end of it because that's what I was told. But when it continued, and there were events taken away, events I'd worked years to get, and I was just told, hey, we need a little more time. It's interesting. I think in anything in life, quite often we say, all right, one more time and it's over and I'm done. Or, to your kid, if you one more time talk to me like that, then you're grounded. I knew that there was a line somewhere. I just didn't know what it was until it was crossed. And when I lost the Rose Parade, which just was a big deal. It was on ABC, and it was it's iconic and it was special. That was it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, look, let's be honest. She got screwed. She's there 16 years. African-American woman who loves her white parents, loves her white family, and is excited that her white family loves her. Question whether Obama, why he doesn't address his white family. Oh, my God, you can't do that. So why was Sage Steele ultimately put on notice and going through all this? Well, certainly it was because of the Obama comment, because, well, you got to protect the great orator, the great man. Hey, whatever happened to that dude, his chef that died in the lake? Anybody got any news on that one? Of course not. Let's be real about this. What really happened is that ESPN has gone so far left, ESPN has gone ridiculously left, and there's no room for a conservative voice. This started with Will Cain. Will Cain, conservative voice, afternoon radio show, became pretty popular. I mean, name me who is even on the radio at ESPN anymore. You can't. Because they're all far left crazy people or too stupid to know left from right. I'm looking at you, Chris Canty. But anyway, so Sage Steele, because she's a conservative, that overrid the fact that she was half black, half white. Hell, I don't even know what Elle Duncan is, but she has a voice. Good for her. And she made a dumbass of herself with the Don't Say Gay. But that's why Sage Steele had to go through all this. And good for Sage. We hope to get Sage on. She's someone I consider a friend. We'll see. But that was a great interview with Megyn Kelly.